Guys, 1 second. Let's see, YouTube. I want to make sure I'm tweeting out the right link because it might not be doing the YouTube live one. Nope, it's pushing through there for us, so that's good. YouTube. I want to make sure I'm tweeting out the right link. All right, good stuff, guys. Let me give me 1 second. Let me get this tweeted out so we can join in here. 1 second. And good. We are live with Algo 382 with Paul again tonight, so it's going to be a good one. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 sec. Let me get that tweeted. And Paul, feel free to retweet that too.
All right. Hey, what's up, people?
Hey, guys. Quick sound check there. Anybody that's out there, just want to make sure everything's coming through okay. If you guys can, were you guys able to hear Paul out there?
Let me see. Get back to here.
Nice. Sound check's good. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it. All right, guys, give us 1 second right here. I just got that tweeted out so everybody can join in. I just need to. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I need to tweet it out to the group here too. 1 second, guys. There. Okay, cool. Good. All right. So good. So we're live here again, folks, with Paul, Algo 382, and we're wrapping up our conversation this week on trading Elliott wave. So on Sunday we talked about impulsive waves. On Monday we talked about corrective waves. Yesterday we took a little hiatus, but we still discussed some intraday price action on Elliott wave with AMD as we were talking about inside day tactics. And then today we're going to, Paul's going to talk a little bit more with us about catching a wave, right? So intraday. And so it's basically, we could look at nice, intraday time or macro time frames, things that are setting up in the daily chart, the 4-hour chart, 2-hour chart. But this is kind of like where the rubber meets the road intraday when you're day trading. How do we apply what we're seeing with the macro waves on the intraday time frame? So when is the best entry, right? So that's basically what we're going to do today. So we're going to get some good examples on that one. And this is the stuff that we do every day in the Discord, in the member Discord. Paul is very active in the Elliott Wave channel of our Discord. And there's a link in the YouTube description if you're interested in joining that Discord. It's got a Trade with Paul link in there. So if you're interested in signing up, be sure to check that out too. So just wanted to mention that going into today. So good stuff. So we're going to continue this conversation today. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. So good. So we're going to do what we normally do is we're going to check and see where we left off with the market here today, and then we'll take a look at the futures and see what might be setting up into tomorrow and into the rest of the evening. And then we'll go over the topic and we'll get going with Paul. And we'll go over the catching a wave intraday, so that's gonna be great. And then we'll try to take some chart requests out there too, so and see what's kind of setting up into the end of the week. So let's get started. So SPX here, we're seeing a green monthly chart right here. We pulled back a little bit, about 23 points today. Left an upper shadow here off of the upper Bollinger Band, but still decent green on the monthly chart. Weekly chart is starting to form a shooting star type candle. We got 2 trading days left in the week, so let's see how that see if that gets any follow through or not, or if it ends up being green on the week. The daily chart, we're probably going to talk about this in a little bit. The daily chart. We broke out of the corrective channel. We talked previously about this being a zigzag formation and then starting the impulsive wave up after we broke out of the corrective channel. And then it looks like here we got a wave 1, we had our wave 2 pullback right here, and it looks like we put in a wave 3. Because of this pullback right here, we suspect that this may be a wave 4 or part of a wave 4, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, we did fill the first gap here today, so that's not a horrible spot to find support to continue to work on a wave 5 up to get potentially back up to all-time highs. But there is the potential to the downside, right? We got the ADMA right here. If we tag that one, we basically hold this gap right here. So the longer this holds, right, the more it stays valid until some point in the future. And then if we do end up breaking below the ADMA, we do have some cloud support right here. We got this prior weekly resistance level, which could become support. That would end up filling this gap, potentially filling this gap, right? And then hopefully working its way back up from there. So here's the intraday price action here today. So it's pretty nice today. We're kind of leaning a little bit bearish on the intraday, and once we broke down here, right, we had a nice close below the 80 MA. It gave us a nice short opportunity down, and of course there's an Elliott wave action on this one, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and 5. So that gave a nice move down there for SPX, and then we kind of chopped around here, kind of a corrective wave into the end of the day. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market opens, so you can see how well those held. Obviously, the gap fill was the big deal today, right? So the price really worked its way down to the prior gap, and filled that, gave a nice bounce off of there, came back, retested it with a higher low, bounced again, tested it again with an even higher low, and worked again. So that was nice, and we found a little bit of resistance at the prior gap high. So cool stuff. Let's take a look at the S&P futures and see how they're behaving here this evening, or misbehaving. So we're up about 4 points this evening. So again, the choppiness is continuing after the macro wave down from cool stuff. We like our levels on the SPX. On the S&P futures, we found a lot of success using our signal zones, which are basically supply and demand zones. And what we do is we look for those as areas of support and resistance. So we had this morning. This was actually a great area of resistance right here. Would have been an ideal entry. I did not take this trade. I think I mentioned it on the videos a little bit earlier. And because of the risk reward just wasn't there off of it, I would have taken it off the top of the signal zone and matching this geometric line right here. So I did not catch the top today, but I was able to use an Elliott wave. Right, we were able to catch nice moves back. Members caught the 382 retracement right here for a move down, and then we got this 382 retracement right here, which gave us a nice move down to fill the gap. So good stuff there. And like we said, this is where the rubber hits the road, going intraday and finding those waves intraday. So tonight we're basically just kind of holding these recent lows off of the gap. So that gives a geometric line right there. We can put a geometric line right here right now. It's going to be a little bit tight, but we'll see how that holds going into the rest of the evening and into tomorrow. We spent a lot of time at the lows today, right? So we got a lot of volume built up on here. So it's going to be very, very important to see how they handle that overnight. If we end up opening in this range, it's going to be an interesting battle tomorrow, right? There's going to be a battle between the bulls and the bears, whether or not they're going to try to push this thing lower and get that wave 4 down to fill those gaps below, or if they can get above these levels, get through this kind of liquidation zone right here and start to try to climb its way back up. So very, very interesting stuff. There's a lot of levels that we're going to be working with tomorrow, and let's see what they have. Let's see what the overnight inventory does for us. So good stuff there. So all right, guys. So like we said, as promised, we've got Algo 382. We've got Paul here this evening, and we're going to be wrapping up this week's discussion on trading Elliott Wave. And Paul does a lot of work for us in the Discord, and just does a great job on the Elliott Wave channel, and really helps members look at charts, look at wave counts, and helps folks find setups intraday. And we had quite a day today, right, Paul?
We did. We had a lot of winners today, a couple good
Nice.
stocks.
Let me switch this over to you, Paul. So I'm going to let you take over here, and let's talk about kind of what happened today, and let's see what it's like taking a macro wave using the counts that we find on the larger term time frames, and how we find entries on the intraday time frame. So it's all you, Paul.
Okay, thanks, John. Let me see what we got here. Can pull up a. How about Neo? That was a pretty fun one today.
Oh yeah, Neo. Neo is awesome.
All right, so let me bring this up. So this is a setup we were watching. We had the 1, 2, and we were in wave 3, and we had this nice little channel here, and we were watching subwave 2 to see when it was finished so we could get in this
So
trade.
guys, we talked about this live the other night. We talked about Neo, right? We were talking about corrective waves and the potential for Neo being an impulsive wave as it was breaking out of that bull flag. So Paul mentioned that looked like a wave 2, and we could be going into a wave 3. Some members actually swung that overnight and did fantastic with a nice overnight move.
Yeah. I got in yesterday, and it was a nice move this morning. Subwave 2 retraced to the 618, so that gave us a little more confidence that Subwave 2 had finished and we were going to see a wave 3 today. Before today, it had been sideways and kind of slow, but once we saw the 618 hit in the wave two, we got a little more
That's awesome.
confident.
So if you didn't catch if you didn't swing the overnight on the pullback, what do we look at here for catching catching that is awesome, right? For a swing, and you kind of can just you can manage that with the Elliott wave counts, right? If you know you're in a wave three, right, you can kind of look for indications of a wave four pulling back. But if we go into the shorter term time frames today. Today we caught pullbacks on that intraday in the group too because it was just it had relative strength today, and like Paul said, that it looked like we were pushing on a wave three. Those big gaps can help confirm that we're in a wave three. So if we go to the lower term time frame, let's look at the intraday action and see what kind of waves we're setting up there. If you're able to pull that up,
On a
yeah,
smaller
even
time
like
frame, let's see
the 5
here.
minute. Yeah, 5 minute
Okay, let's
is great,
see.
or the 15. Yeah,
Take a look at the
beautiful.
15 here.
Look at that.
Let's see, one, two. Okay, so yes, we can see the wave one, then wave two, and then we have this big gap here, typical of a wave three.
So one method is to go to a really shorter time frame and just noticing that bullishness because they got an upgrade this morning, which was so cool. We saw that happening pre-market, and so when you see that happening pre-market, obviously if you're in the trade, you're really happy about that. But even if you weren't holding it overnight on a day trade side, we can enter at the open off of a like a 1 minute orb or a 5 minute orb, and then after that, even if you miss the open, right, you can still look for a retrace.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a couple of pullbacks during the day. I'm looking at this for tomorrow, and it looks like we'll probably get a wave four pullback in the 23 to
It's kind
38%
of interesting
range.
though. I know you don't have the extended hours pulled up, but I think Neo is ripping after hours.
Oh, it
So
could
to
be.
me, it
Yep,
almost looks like because
could
we
be still
caught that
going.
first pullback today, right? So which I would call like a probably I would assume it's a wave two. What was the retrace on that first pullback intraday?
First pullback intraday
Just from
was
the
looking
open, just from the open.
about.
I'm just talking about day trading.
Yeah, yeah, I got it
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the open. Let's see.
yeah. Not from the gap, from the open.
Let's see. Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, there's a lot of places
Yeah,
you
from
can
there.
pull from here. Let's see. So there's the open, and there's the
I think it
high.
hit the
Let's see
382,
here.
didn't it, from the open?
That sounds right. Let's see.
Boom. Look at that.
Yeah, we did hit the 382.
And
Yep.
that's where members look to enter. It also gives us confirmation on an intraday basis that we if we assume that we're in a wave three, right? We have to have a wave two pullback. So what better place to grab it than a 382 or a 618, right? It was looking bullish, but that hammer right there, even on the 15-minute chart off of the 318, gives us lots of confidence that this thing's ready to go to put a wave three of three working its way up.
Yep. No, that was a good
Let
one.
me. I don't, there's if I'm not sure. Are you able to pull up extended hours on yours?
I can bring up, but not really. I'd have to
I
bring up
gotcha.
Thinkorswim.
Anyway, after hours, though, it looks like it finishes the wave because that the next pullback would have intersected wave one. If you want, I can kind of show it real quick on mine. I'll just
Okay,
pull it up right
yeah.
here. So guys, if you guys are enjoying our discussion on Elliott Wave, we're thinking about doing this every Sunday night to kind of look at macro charts going into the week. So what we're gonna do tonight is on Twitter is we're gonna post a poll and see how many people are interested in us doing a regular Elliott Wave show on Sunday nights, so we can look at these macro setups and kind of review them throughout the week, on the live streams, just to kind of show how they play out and where the entries are intraday. Somebody said do it every day forever, Michael. I love it. So if you look here on the intraday,
Yay.
Neo is actually pulled back a little bit farther right here. So the first entry today is off of the wave two on the 382 pullback, right? So you get your wave one, you got your wave two right here. So this is what we look to do. So we kind of think this is a wave three, except it was probably more of like a leading diagonal because wave four intersected wave one, and that's a violation of the Elliott wave rules. So this actually kind of gets us a little bit more bullish because it might be working on a subwave impulsive wave, and that is probably why, right, we're working our way up a little bit higher after hours, right? So in other words, this could have been sort of like wave one, two, right, one, two, three, 1 2 and still continue to work its way up. So that's why I'm not surprised to see a little bit more movement there. And then of course this retrace also gave us another move as well. So even though it wasn't a pure wave four, it could have been a leading diagonal, and which helped lead us up a little bit more into the day. So anyway, Paul, I just wanted to show that with the extended hours because it was ripping after hours too, which is pretty cool.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it looks good for sure.
So what else? What else did you guys trade intraday today in the Elliott Wave room?
We were looking at Blink yesterday and today,
Nice.
and let me see if I can bring that up. That was a fun
Yeah, let's see
one.
what the macro setup was, and then look at the
Let's see the
entries there.
macro. Go to, this
Oh,
was a good
that's a
one.
nice looking channel too.
Yeah, so we saw this push up to the top of the channel, and then we noticed we were in correction mode, and we were watching it all the way down in the C wave, and we had our fib set out here, and we got a bounce off the bottom of the channel close to the 618, and we got more confident about the trade once price started to pop above the 80 MA and into the cloud.
Nice. So how does that look on the intraday time frame? I know some folks grabbed that intraday too. Wasn't there some unusual volume intraday as well?
I think, yeah, some unusual volume came through. Let's see.
It means we're not the only ones looking at this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so price was coming down, and it got right close to the 618, and then it started to get bought. We had a little sub wave up here, probably a wave one, then a wave two, and today we did three up. So let me put that
That's
on
awesome.
there. This is something we might look at tomorrow and see if we want to catch the wave four pullback.
Very nice.
We could do something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, these electric vehicle names and the
Start,
suppliers of the electrical vehicle companies are just rocking these days. It's up after hours too. Well, it's pushing.
oh, up
Well, it's
after
pushing.
hours.
It
Okay,
pulled back a little
perfect.
bit. Did a little subwave after hours, and is pushing up now.
Okay, yeah, it looks good. So we started with the wave one. We had a wave two retrace right into the 618, and then we got up with wave three. And yeah, this should be a strong one
Yeah.
tomorrow
Let's see if we can
if we don't get a wave
catch a
four.
pullback on that one. That'd be nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So another big one I know folks have been looking at too is Zoom. So that was one that you talked about here. I mean, if we go back when we talked about corrective waves, and we even talked about it on Sunday, where we talked about Zoom and Zoom forming that wave four triangle, and then we were expecting a wave five pop out of there, right? And so
Yes.
yesterday it gave a huge move off of that to kind of start that wave five, I believe, and then we had a an interesting day today.
Wave five. Today, I believe we were open somewhere in here, and we were going down today, and we were trying to see when we were going to get the bounce today.
Yeah, pull up. What
Let's
do you
see
got on there?
the bigger picture. We had a 1 2 1
Right.
2 instead of 1 2 3 4. We're counting 1 2 1 2. But price came down, went below the 618, didn't quite make to the 786, but we got a bounce out of the golden zone today. A few members got in on this
Nice.
one.
Yeah, gave some good moves there today. If you zoom out to the macro time frame, can you show that triangle again and kind of see how it looks breaking out of the triangle? Because that was where we were talking about corrective
Yeah,
waves.
let's see here.
There it is.
Oh, these. Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have to assume that that triangle, the blue circle wave four, is the end of the triangle, and then so we have to assume that then we're working on a wave five, a potential wave five up.
Right. So yes, this was a giveaway. When we saw this triangle and in the wave position, we knew it was about a wave four. Everybody was watching this, and we did finally get a
It was
breakout.
nice. Today was a little bit
Yeah.
a little bit of a pullback, but it seems to have recovered, like you said, out of the golden zone. So let's see if Zoom can get some follow through.
Yeah, I think it could. There is an alternate count that might happen here. I want to show you guys. So we came down in wave two. We bounced out of the golden zone. If I drop my fibs down, the bearish fibs were right here at the 618. We did not go through there, and we kind of paused. It's possible that this might turn into an A, B, C, and give us a deeper wave
A
two
zigzag
down to
pullback,
here.
like we talked about the other day.
A zigzag,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just a count. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a count that could happen that you want to watch for because we haven't broken through the
Yep.
618 yet.
And that's the cool part about Elliott Wave. Like, you and I were talking at the close about AMD, right? So usually the cool thing about Elliott Wave is sometimes there's multiple counts, right? So we sometimes you have to take that into consideration, right? So maybe this is working on a zigzag down, right? So that's the bearish case on it. So right now we can't tell which way it's going. It's usually we get the most confident about Elliott Wave is when we can't find really any like alternate counts. So if we're bullish on it and we just can't find the bearish count, those are the best, right? Because we get a lot more confidence
Right.
on that, right? So do you want to pull up AMD and just kind of take a look at that one? Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is looking interesting because it kind of fits both ways. There's a couple different counts on it, so it's tough.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember this. We were talking about this at
Yep,
the
yep, yep,
close. Okay. So here's AMD. This is the 1 hour. You can kind of see the bull flag we got there.
yep,
Okay. Let me see here. So this would have been wave one up to here, and then it looks like we had a corrective wave two. You can tell it's corrective because it's real choppy. It's contained within this channel pretty much. We slipped through the 618, and we're right now between the 618 and 786, and we'll see where it goes
yep,
tomorrow.
exactly. And if you don't mind, I'll show you what I'm looking at on the Elliott Wave here too. Let me pull this up here on the 60-minute
Yeah,
chart if I can.
just noticing something bearish. We had a close below the 8 EMA.
Right.
It's tapping the top of the channel, so yeah, this could be going
I'm just gonna show
testing the
here on
bottom
the
tomorrow.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put extended hours on and on the hourly
Okay.
chart. So what I was kind of looking at here with AMD is that I saw this big drop in AMD, and I'm thinking impulsive wave, right? And so here it kind of looks like kind of an ABC up here, right? So if you kind of show if this is potentially a wave one, this would be a could be a 535, right? So let's just call this wave A of a zigzag. Here's your ABC
Yeah.
here, and we could be looking at a potential another impulsive move down. And the only reason I say that is because it's possible. Just this is using extended hours. You can't see this low move here on the daily chart, but using the extended hours, what you can see is we bounced right off of the 618 right here. So in a way, there's also a bearish count on this one. So we're kind of up in the air in it, right? It could be bullish. I like Paul's bull flag, but it's also interesting here on the 618. So what this does is what this means is that we're hands off right now until we can get some confirmation. Paul, I'm going to put your chart back up here. So, so there's two different possibilities on this one, and so we want to wait for confirmation. If we can, like you said, it closed below the ADMA that are on the 1 minute chart, but if it ends up gapping up tomorrow and giving us some bullish candle, then we're going to go ahead and scrap the if we take out that 618 again, we're going to go ahead and scrap the bearish case, which is basically just at today's highs. We'll scrap the bearish case and look for intraday setups for a long based on this count. So it's cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I like this. This could go either way. When you see the overnight hours, you see this could be an ABC for for
Zigzag
a
potential.
zigzag.
And then it could go up,
Yeah.
but
So
and then you can kind of start to be like, okay, well maybe that does make sense because everybody's thinking AMD is going to struggle with their purchase of Xilinx because they failed in the past with some big acquisitions, and so so there's a little bit of fundamental stuff going on in the market right there on the kind of hypothesizing about it, but everybody thinks they're going to fail and then they'll probably succeed.
yeah, you never know. If ES starts to rip tonight, good chance it'll go up tomorrow.
Nice. So cool. I mean, I think that really, pretty much covers it. I mean, this is what we look for, right? So we go to we look at the macro time frames. We want to try to get a good wave count on it, and then we're ready to find an entry. We want to find the ideal entry based on a fractal Elliott wave count on a lower term time frame. Intraday, I love day trading, so intraday I like to use the 5 minute chart. I like to use the 1 minute chart to look for entries. Last night we
Yep.
talked about AMD using the 1 minute to get a nice 5 wave down. I use Elliott wave on the 1 minute chart all the time for trading the futures and for trading SPX and SPY because it just gives us so many because you can just look at those impulsive and corrective waves intraday. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of fun counting waves live. I was going to say my favorite happens to be the 3 minute, but everyone's got their favorite 2 minute, 5 minute,
Yeah.
1 minute. But it's a lot of fun to count fast. fast
And it helps when we
waves.
have like key levels too, like off of our support and resistance zones that we use, because a lot of times those make great targets. And even the open gap today was our target on the ES. In fact, let me show you that down move on the
Yeah,
ES real quick.
yes.
Can you pull that up? Can you pull? You
I
want to
think
do
I
it?
got
Yeah.
it too.
If you can show them the this is where we took entries today. Um, if
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Oh, you should bring
you want
up
me to
your
do it? If you
screen.
let me pull
Yeah,
up the, I talked about it a
yeah.
little bit here in
Because
the
I don't
preview,
know.
but this is what we were looking at today on the S&P futures. So, like I said, I really wish I could have caught the high today. It didn't happen. Sometimes I can. Bulls wanted to step up a little bit more and try to get us to the top of our signal zone. Let me get it pulled up right here. So this is gonna be a little bit laggy because it's live and it's late and my computer's getting a little bit tired. But if we go to the 1 minute chart right here, well, actually you can see it pretty nicely here on the 5 minute. Like we mentioned earlier, right? We use our levels. These supply and demand zones really help us, right? We call them signal zones. And basically, this drop zone from last night proved to be resistance. I thought the bulls could kind of step up because we had some other levels they were looking at here at this 35.21 level plus the geometric line. I thought they were going to push it a little bit higher and we get a nice perfect short right here. It turned out being the inside five doji reversal right here was the move down. There was so many support levels that I didn't find the risk reward good enough here for a spy trade with the group. Here I would mind because I would have been at least confident saying we get here in a possible breakdown through there for at least a 1 to 2 risk reward. And so but what we can do is once we can see that this is an impulsive wave on the intraday, that's where we look for, that's where we can pull up our Elliott wave, right? So and look for retraces, right? So intraday, what we do is real quickly is we pull this up, right? So we didn't quite get into the 618, but we pulled into this range here between the 50% and the 382, and so that gave us some confidence here that that this was our wave two move. And so if I put a wave right here, wave one, so this is our wave two, ABC here, right? And
Perfect. Perfect.
exactly.
No,
And
I
then
like that.
another thing we could do as well is just kind of keep that the ADMA on there, just to kind of give us a guide to make sure that we're that our trend is correct, right? So you can see here off the ADMA, once we started to confirm below the ADMA, right? Look at that. We stayed below that the entire way down right here, which is just beautiful. And then we paused at one of our signal zones, so boom, a great place to take profit. I told the group, I tweeted to the group today in our futures channel, I said I'm going to look for a 382 retrace at this signal zone right here and look to go short. So I gave everybody a heads up on that one, and then took the trade off of this doji after we rejected the ADMA and the 50% retrace and the 382. And so this gave us a fantastic short right here, and the target was to fill the open gap. Right, so and that's exactly where we got to. We actually got 2 points below there, and I also said once we fill that gap, we're going to look to buy the dip, right? Because that's target hit, and so so we ended up getting some calls there too. I ended up getting stopped out a little bit early because I was raising stops, and sometimes when you raise stops, it just gets you. But it was still a great rebound back to the signal zone, chopped around a little bit, right? And so we could tell this wave was over because of the corrective movement right here. So you have your A, B, C type movement, and you can actually short back off of the zone again just in case it wants to try, just in case it wants a bigger wave down after your ABC. And then we got back to the lows again, and then it gave us another dip buy opportunity, which kind of brought a lot of other names up, like Apple, and a couple other names that were pretty nice right there. So this is putting the rubber to the road intraday, using levels to trade off of, sometimes using a guide like the ADMA. Just to confirm your sentiment, and then trading off of the retraces off the Fibonacci. So there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes for a nice trade. Even if you don't catch the top, even if you don't catch this one, you can still catch your wave 5 and really make it a nice day.
No, that was a good one. That was a good
It
short.
was fun. Plus, I love
It was a
shorting.
fun day. Yeah, it came out on Twitter okay in the private tweets.
Nice, good. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good move today. So other than that, good stuff, guys. So Paul, I don't know if you have any other ones that you wanted to mention. Otherwise, we could see if there's any a few chart requests out there, so we can see what's setting up into the end of the week. Um,
Yeah, we could go through chart requests. I was going to show you
oh yeah,
CGC
that
real
gave an
quick. Just
incredible
another
move up recently. And normally pot stocks don't follow through, but this one had a huge couple days on it.
Yeah, we had a huge wave three here. You can count the 5 subwaves in the 3. We got 1, 2, 3
Oh,
triangle,
triangle, I
4,
love it.
5, and then we're coming down in wave 4. Theoretically, I mean, it could be in here, but more likely is we could get an A, B, C down to right in this area and then go up. So this will be one that we're going to watch
Nice.
tomorrow.
It's great. Yeah, let's keep an eye on that one too. Good stuff, guys. So at this point, if anybody has a few chart requests out there, feel free to play those in the chat window. We'll probably get through like 5 or 10 or something like that. We don't want to keep Paul too late. And then if you have any questions out there, Elliott Wave questions, I saw a few of them out there as well. So we'll go through those. So good stuff. So the Nest tuning in early, I love it. So got a couple of ideas out there. A couple of these are probably going to overlap with other people's ones too. Let's take a look at McDonald's and Apple.
Okay, I have Apple. Let's see
The only reason
here.
I'm interested in McDonald's is because it did give a big push. I think I mentioned it this morning that it was had an unusual move at the open.
Yeah, okay, well, here's Apple. Let's see. You can see we had all this corrective sideways movement down here. It looks like we had a wave one up and we're working on a wave two right now.
Nice. So potential pullback a little bit right there into the golden zone, or it could be working. It could go back to a wave two. It might be wave C. Might be down a little bit. We'll see how that goes going in tomorrow. It did get an upgrade this morning after the after its Apple day, after its day crazy day yesterday. So
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so
Apple, yeah. It'll be a good one to watch
nice. Definitely
tomorrow.
going to be on the radar. I didn't get any emails tonight from Shirley, but again, guys, thanks for keeping her in your thoughts and prayers. As I know she's doing better all the time, so I don't see any chart requests there, but hopefully she'll find this helpful. Let's take a look at Mickey D's. The only reason I like Mickey D's is not only did it show really well today, but we've traded that really. It trades really well with Elliott Wave when you can catch a good move. Like we caught that a year ago, a little over a year ago, with a great triangle that set up for like over a month, and then it just launched, and it was just incredible. And every move along the way was just incredible. So it gave a little bit of a push today. It looks like it may have pulled back a little bit after that, but it was strong at the open, I recall. Unless it was yesterday.
Yeah, here's the daily on McDonald's.
If you scroll out to like last year real quick. See if you can just zoom out as much as
Last
you
year.
can, if you don't mind. Yeah, it was,
Yeah,
see
no
back
problem.
there
Let's see.
that triangle right there before it made that big move up to like the 220s back in 20. See that triangle there, right? Right where it says
Right
2019
here.
October 2019 up here. It gave this great triangle move and then finished up that wave 5 on the weekly chart. But yeah, right through there.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Okay, right
it
in
gave a lot
here.
of stuff. So it's looking pretty interesting right here. Daily.
Let's see.
I'll pull up the daily too on mine.
It looks like we got some kind of big ABC here, and we've been on an impulse up. This looks like a leading diagonal, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 1, 2, and we're in the middle of a wave 3, or maybe towards the end of a wave
Nice.
3.
Good stuff.
Haven't looked
It's
haven't
had a,
looked
yeah,
at
I mean,
McDonald's in a
recently,
while.
yeah, that's what it was. It tagged all-time highs this morning, I believe, and pretty big epic run since the Corona crash. Good stuff. Thanks, Dennis. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see. You want to take a look at, let's see, between Netflix and Nvidia. Let's take a look at Netflix.
Netflix, that's a nice one. Let's see here. This would have been a nice short today, I
Yeah,
believe.
this thing's been so
Let's see
wild.
the
Sorry, I think I
chart.
had you on your weekly chart. It's
Oh
been doing
no,
it
it's
every day.
okay.
I think it's had 9 consecutive reversal days. It was green, then red, then green, then red, then green, then red, then green, then red, then green, then red. I mean, it was just incredible.
Yep. Netflix was chopping right up this channel, and we got 5 waves to form the final 5th wave of wave 1, and now we're working on a wave 2 correction. We'll be watching this one tomorrow to see how low it goes.
Yeah, or if it holds the channel.
Right, if the channel holds or not. I mean, there's a lot of things it could do. We're below the ADMA and above the cloud, which is kind of a no man's
Mm-hmm.
land also. So
That'd be a nice bounce off the 60-minute cloud at 382.
yeah, that could be a real likely spot. It could do something like an ABC, like down to the 382, something like
Definitely
that.
something to look for right there at that area. That's at about 528. So let's see if that holds. And it's got earnings coming up soon, so it might do that, and then try to do a little bit of an earnings run. Um, we're starting to see some things that are looking like earnings runs, like Tesla stuff like that. So it's a good stuff there.
Tesla. Yep.
Good. So Darian, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Docu. Have you done that one?
Docu. I think I have
Oh,
it
here it
on
is.
my
Yeah, yeah.
other. Let's see. No, maybe real quick. Docu. No, actually, I don't have that one. So here I got it on a. We can look at the daily. Let's see here.
Interesting pullback.
Okay. So it looks. I mean, we're above the 8 and we're going up, but it looks like we could be forming an ABC here. Something
Interesting.
like that.
Yeah, it's kind of struggling with the cloud a little bit. So if it does reject that, it had a nasty kind of day today too. So let's see. That could be interesting.
Yeah, looks like on the bigger picture, it looks like this is a 1 and this is a 2.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll
Let's
have
keep
to
an eye on that
watch
one.
it
Nice, thanks,
tomorrow.
Darian. Appreciate it. Umesh, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. So you got okay. We looked at Zoom, but let's go ahead and take a look at FSLY. Did you see what happened to FSLY after hours?
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
heard about.
it
Yeah, I
got
did see the
crushed. So it's going to be
ICOS.
opening right now. Let me look. What's the bid on it right now?
It's in the
Yeah, I saw it
90s,
hit
I
like
think.
86. Let me see. FSLY. Not yet. It's at 91 right now. So it's recovered a little bit, but it just got crushed.
90, 91. That's all the
Yeah.
way down here. Let's see here. See if that lines up with any fibs. Maybe it's in the golden zone. We'll see. Yep. So it retraced to about right here, right around in the cloud, which just happens to be in the golden zone between the 618 and 786. But I'm not sure if this one's going to get bought tomorrow. What do you think, John?
It's in an interesting area, right? It's not really gapping below any major pivot points, so it is possible that they could buy the dip. But I'd like to see how strong the market is tomorrow. A strong market with some tailwinds could get it going.
Yeah, okay, okay. No, that would be an impressive bounce from there. It also we got this demand zone down here to
Nice.
bounce out
So
of.
it's basically with FSLY, the big, the reason it had such a bearish candle on the daily chart, right, was this whole TikTok news. And FSLY provides like all the back end like technology. I think like TikTok is one of their biggest customers, right? But they also Zoom's another
Oh,
one,
okay.
Docu's another one, right? Those type of things right there. So it's very very interesting to see. FSLY have a hugely bearish candle on that one. So you got to think there's a little bit of manipulation going on in there to gap it down as much as they didn't really have that much of a miss on their earnings. But you got to imagine there was some big money in that today that was is going to bank tomorrow. So they may cover their positions, and we could see a little bit of a bounce on it. It could be interesting.
Yeah, we'll
So
see.
let's
We'll
see. So
see.
Mr. No Name, yo, Paul the Beast, I love it. And Christian said, Paul the Goat, the greatest of all time. I love it. So Christian, we looked at Tesla, we looked at Zoom. We may as well take a look at Amazon.
Amazon. Let's see. What did that do? I know some people are playing this one today. Let's see. 45 minutes. Amazon. Okay, so it looks like we had some corrective price action down here for wave 2, right between the parallel lines, and then it looks like we had an impulse, likely a wave 1, and now we're in a corrective wave 2.
Nice. Yeah, let's see how it holds that zone. That would be nice if it could bounce.
With,
So Amazon had a rough day today. Could be working on a zigzag. It's pretty impulsive down move.
yeah, A B ABC, and this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomorrow, and then up.
Nice. Good stuff there. Good. Jameis, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Gary, what's going on? Good to see you. Matt, just dropping by to see how everyone's doing. Awesome. I really appreciate it. Thierry, what's going on? Good evening. Neo. Yep, Neo. We definitely looked at that one a little bit earlier. Love it. So we looked at CGC, CDON. So probably pretty similar to that one. Merritt, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at if Paul, if you have any time, let's take a look at Beyond.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Let's see beyond. Let's see. Back to a 2 hour time frame here. 3 hour. Okay, yeah. So beyond's an interesting one. Uh, good question. Looks like we had an impulse up 1, 2, 3, and we're working on wave 4 in here. Um, let's see. We could be up from here because this could be an ABC, or this could turn into a larger ABC, and we could come down somewhere in here off the 382 in the cloud and get a nice bounce.
Nice, definitely some good levels. Keep an eye on that one. Eat with the Queens. Let's take a look at Facebook. We got some questions out there too.
Facebook. Facebook. Let's see. Yeah, Facebook. A lot of stocks look like this today. A lot of bull flags. Okay, so Facebook, same pattern. We had a corrective channel here. We broke out of it in an impulse for wave 3, and this could also be counted 1, 2 instead of 3, 4. So I'm thinking we're probably going to bounce somewhere out of the 618 area.
Now, why do you put a WXY on that one? Is that because each one has like basically an ABC in it?
Yeah, WXY is for a 3, 3, 3, so each wave would be
Got
three
it.
waves. So, and if it's a 5, 3, 5, it'd be a
Got it.
ABC.
Perfect.
Yep. But I'm looking for a 618 bounce here. That's always fun. It's always reliable when you see a bounce
Yeah, I
off
love
to
that.
618.
Joe Mark has a question out there. How are futures related, or how do they correlate to the SPX and the Nasdaq, etc.? So Joe Mark, so basically, there's three things, right? So there's the SPX, which is actually your cash index, right? What that's doing is that's looking at all the S&P 500 stocks and taking their values, right, weighted value, the weighted values, etc., and giving a price on that, right? So it's basically just a core. It's showing you what the overall price is of the market, right? So the S&P futures are their futures contracts on the S&P 500. So they trade overnight, right? They're one of the highest traded instruments in the world, other than some forex names. But it's a highly traded instrument, and oftentimes it can lead the market, right? So if the futures are working their way back up, everything's kind of tied together with algorithms, things like that these days. So if the futures are moving up, right, it can drag the market up with it, right? Now the SPY is a derivative, right? So the SPY is its own functioning entity. However, it basically correlates almost directly with the SPX. So you can still trade SPY and SPY options based on what the futures are doing or what the SPX is doing. So they are interrelated, right? The Nasdaq is its own index. The Nasdaq often gives us a lot of clues as to what's happening, because sometimes there's divergences, right? Like this morning, we opened up and the S&P was red and the Nasdaq was green. Right, so sometimes when we see those divergences, we look to see if there's any strength in the Nasdaq, especially on some of the highest weighted names that are both on the S&P and the Nasdaq. So like Apple is on all three, right? It's on the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the S&P. So if Apple's really, really super duper strong, sometimes it can carry the market. Same thing with Amazon. They're all highly weighted on the indexes. So pretty cool stuff there. So that's a great question. And they are very related, exactly. So good stuff there. So Casey, we took a look at Neo and Apple. So good stuff there. Yep. So we'll see where we open. Definitely give us lots of clues into the next day. Awesome on the poll. Yeah, good. We'll definitely get that out there too. Good question here from Samuel. Does Elliott wave only work on uptrends?
No, it works on downtrends too. You can see the same waves. A downtrend might be a lot more steep, and the impulses could be a lot more exaggerated. So you could get some really, really long wave threes in a
Exactly.
down
That's
move.
why today, when I pointed out earlier, we were trading the S&P futures and trading the SPY puts. You saw that wave down worked just as well, right? And there's corrective waves in the wave down, right? So it works either way.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say shorting is fun. In this zigzag down here was a good place to short. So you can see how long the candles are, and it's just a wider
Exactly,
range of
you get a lot of
price.
bigger moves. That's why I love shorting so much. So, Michael, good question there. Workhorse in the golden zone? Oh, yeah, another one I wanted to point out too is the DKNG, right? So this is where we kind of can kind of differ in how we look at the wave counts, right? So the other night. Paul was talking about a wave count on DKNG as possibly being done with its wave, but I was like, there might be a possibility that it might want to go lower. So it's tough, right? So that's just another example. Let's take a look at Workhorse.
Workhorse. Okay, here we go. So let's see. Workhorse. We thought this was going to bounce earlier, but it looks like this turned into an ABC, and we're coming down into this area, into the macro 618.
That's a tough one.
And this does look like a 5 wave, because I can see the 1, 2 gap for the 3, and then this looks like a typical 4 wave, so we should get a drop, 5th subwave to finish wave C of 2 at the 618.
Workhorse is a heartbreaker, right? So good. Yeah, Andrew, exactly. So Elliott Wave helps with both uptrends and downtrends and finding those corrective waves. So that's why. So guys, if you're new here and you didn't catch the other episodes, be sure to check out the YouTube channel, and I'll tweet it out this weekend too once we compile it all together. But if you just go back to the last videos that were posted in the YouTube channel here, Monday we talked about impulsive waves. They're good on the upside. They're good on the downside. I'm sorry, Sunday. Monday we talked about corrective waves, good on the upside and the downside, and applying them intraday, good on the upside and the downside. So good stuff there. That's right, Andrew. Yep, 3 cannot be the shortest wave. That is definitely one of the rules there. Samuel, so if at a downtrend it will continue downward until reversal? Yeah, pretty much, right? I mean, we just want to make sure we look at the first wave down. If you see an impulsive move down, then you look for a corrective wave. If we move off of that corrective wave, then we look for a wave 3 down, and then we look for a corrective wave 4. After the corrective wave 4, we look for a wave 5 down. So we get that going on. Wave 3 doesn't necessarily have to be the most powerful wave, but it's by rules it does not. Christian, it does. It just can't be the shortest wave, just of the Elliott wave rules. And Andrew, you usually count 5 waves and then look for a move in the opposite direction. You can, but it doesn't necessarily bounce off of the 5 waves, because after the 5 waves, it could be corrective. Right today, like we bought the dip because we knew it was a key level at the at the gap fill, and that we would be working at correct. But corrective waves can be dangerous, right? Because they don't impulse necessarily unless it's a zigzag. So you just have to be careful with that in terms of how long you hold in a correction. But wave 3 is oftentimes the longest, but sometimes wave 5 can be very much longer than all of them, as long as wave 3 is not the shortest. So good stuff. But yeah, definitely check out those videos. We've got a couple other series on here too, which are really helpful. So Andrew, what EMAs are you using for Paul?
I like to use the 8 EMA, just because it's a good place where you can see price get support or resistance. And it sounds pretty basic, but if you're under the 8 EMA, you're usually going down, and you want price to go towards the 8 EMA and above it, and then you're in an uptrend. So it's just a good indicator to tell where you are trending.
Nice. So good stuff. Let's see. We've got a couple other ones. I'm just looking for any other chart requests out there. Thanks for looking at Facebook. Nice. Following both. Nice. Good job. Thanks, Cloyd. I really appreciate it. Great stuff there. And then Mr. Mosby, can we do a wave count on WBA? It's been in a downtrend for a while. We can take a look at that one if Paul's got some time to look at one more.
Sure.
And pins might be another one to look at too. We saw that one out there. And Suyag, your question about the 382 or the 618 in Elliott Wave, right, those are just kind of standard pullbacks. That's why we look at those all the time on the intraday, right? So typically a wave 2 is going to be a 618, and your wave 4 is going to be a 382. However, they could both be 382s. They don't have to be 618s, and they don't have to be either of them, right? As long as wave 2, by definition, by rule, as long as wave 2 does not intersect wave 1, it's still a valid wave, right? As long as wave 4, it doesn't go down past the bottom of wave 1. As long as wave 4 doesn't intersect wave 1, right, then it's a valid wave, right? And but sometimes it could be a leading diagonal if it's kind of moving out of a wave. You can see some overlaps out there. But yeah, for the most part, the 382s and the 618s are some of our best ones. And there's also a guideline of alternation. So if wave 2 is short, then wave 4 tends to be bigger. It doesn't have to be the case, but it could. So that's something that we look at. So when you know those guidelines and you combine them with the rules, it really helps give a good wave count. So we've got that going on there. Yep. Usually, one is definitely going to be bigger than two. Two's obviously going to be less than one if that's the case. Three does not necessarily have to be bigger than wave one, as long as it's not the shortest wave. As long as wave five is less than wave three. So again, all I'm saying is wave three is not the shortest impulsive wave. So good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, WBEA on the weekly looks like it's in a downtrend. Looks like a mean wedge going on there.
Yeah, it's been getting crushed. So we'll see if it can break out of that wedge on the
Yeah.
weekly chart. We might start to see a move up on it. So that could be pretty good. And then
Right.
how about pins? Let's take a look at pins and then wrap up for the night here.
Pins. Okay, let's see pins.
Pins gave a pretty good move recently.
Okay. Oh yeah, pins. Okay, we were kind of flat today, but it looks like we're in wave five from here to here, and we've had one, two, three, four, five waves. So we could be topping out here in wave five. Also possible we could keep extending, and wave five could extend, but we'll
It's pretty
see.
interesting coming into earnings season to kind of see how that goes. Oh, nice. Walgreens boots has earnings coming on Thursday. Nice. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it, guys. Well, good stuff, guys. I really appreciate it. So Harbor, are these videos saving the Elliott Wave playlist? Yeah. So right now, these will, if you go to our playlists here on YouTube, there's lots of different ones here, but this will be a separate stream. A separate. We'll save all these in a separate area this week. But just look for the ones the recent videos posted, and look for the ones with Paul's picture on it. So good stuff. Hey guys, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all the wave counts tonight. We'll get back to more tomorrow when we do the lightning round. Paul's not going to be on tomorrow, so he's done a great job this week, and I really appreciate Paul for being here this week. We're going to do a poll afterward and see how many people are interested in doing a Sunday night Elliott Wave conversation, just kind of like we've been doing here today. And you can put questions out there. It's not going to be as kind of like tutorial stuff, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into the week and see, from this week and see what might be setting up in the next week. So I think it'll be a good one. I think it'll be a good one. So, but again, guys, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you like what you hear here, and you'd like to, get your charts looked at intraday, Paul is in our Elliott Wave channel in our Discord room. So, feel free to click the link in the description and sign up. It's the Trade with Paul link to join our group and to jump in the Discord. It's a great group. We've got a private Twitter as well, but lots of good positive conversations in there. Looking at these counts intraday, looking for entries, and then I'm pretty busy intraday too, looking at other setups too, and tracking the futures and the SPY and things like that. So it's a great group, guys, and I hope you guys can join us. But I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And Paul, thanks again so much for tuning in.
Hey,
All right,
my
guys,
pleasure.
we'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow on the YouTube Good Morning Market Prep video. So if you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube and be sure to hit the like button. We always appreciate it. So everybody have a wonderful evening and stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe.